Peace 107.5 FM, the air of success.
We are in the 5 o'clock hour, and if it's 5 o'clock, it's hard copy. Hard copy is a presentation of the McKinney Media Group. Copyrights 2015, all rights reserved. The views expressed on this show are those of the guests and does not necessarily affect the views of the host, this radio station, or its affiliates. No part of this program may be reproduced in full or in part without the express written consent of the producers of the McKinney Media Group. This is Hard Copy of the McKinney Broadcasting Radio Network. Hard Copy seeks to lay out the facts in simple fashion for the inclusion of all Bahamians and Bahamians at heart. The focus every day to move forthright in our manner to build a progressive and developing country, and our desires for a Bahamas with a competent, skillful, and productive workforce. We want a country that can feed and sustain itself. We want a country with a brilliant, visionary action plan ready to embrace a future of hope and prosperity. We encourage like-minded Bahamians to participate with intelligence and honest contributions. We have a country to build. We've got jobs and industry to create, a people to inspire and empower, and generations of born and unborn Bahamians, we the people, must protect and plan for. And if not you, then who? If not now, then when? Today on Hard Copy, we have a variety today. In our first hour, we're going to be talking with folks from the CEO Network and Prophet Lawrence Roll and company, because there's something big happening in the country that deals with mothers. It's very important. We're back in just a minute.
When I fly with Sky. Sky Bahamas. When I fly with Sky. Sky Bahamas. Oh, the plane them spanking clean. The pilots them voice red. They fly you out on time. They fly the attendants red. Service is their passion. With you they take good care. Safety is their culture. Yes, they'll get you there. When I fly.
Fly with us to Fort Lauderdale or the beautiful Bahama Islands. Book today at 702-2600 or visit our website at skybahamas.net and experience Sky.
Are you a holder of a bachelor's degree? Are you in the job market looking for employment? Listen up. The Department of Labor is urging Bahamians with a bachelor's degree in any and all professions to move now and register with the department at its Clarence Bean Building or Robinson Road office or any of the family islands. Don't hesitate. Bachelor's degree holders, register today without delay, whether you are employed or unemployed. For more information, contact the Department of Labor at 302-2550 or 302-2562.
Mother to mother, let's face it, it's tough raising children. Yet despite the challenges that you may face, many of you are raising champions. And we want to celebrate you. The CEO Network, Farm Press International, and Bishop Lawrence Roll presents the first annual Mother to Mother Raising Champions Weekend, featuring Magic Johnson's mom, Dr. Christine Johnson, and Pastor Jolinda Wade, mother of Dwayne Wade. A gala banquet on Saturday, May 16th, 7 p.m. at the British Colonial Hilton. Tickets are $150 and available at Foresights Communications, Rosetta Street, and the Singing Bishop's Delight Store on Market Street and Palm Tree Avenue. Join the Singing Bishop, Lawrence Roll, at the 21st Annual Mother's Day Concert on Sunday, May 17th, 7 p.m., featuring gospel recording artist Beverly Crawford at the Golden Gates Ministries International, Carmichael Road. Tickets are $50 in advance and $20 at the door. Help us celebrate our mothers. The first annual Mother to Mother Raising Champions Weekend, May 16th and 17th.
Island Made invites you to buy Bahamian.
Oh, I love my island. Oh, my island made. Oh, I love my island. My island made. Oh, I love my island.
Island Made brands, always the best brands, always the best prices, always the best products, and always Bahamian made. Island Made. Give us a call, 362-1102 or 362-1113.
My island made. Oh, I love my island. My island made.
The Utilities Regulation and Competition Authority, ERCA, presents ICT Innovation and Connectivity, a report on the status of the electronic communications sector in the Bahamas and its 2014 activities. Join ERCA's board, members, and staff on Thursday, May 21st at the College of the Bahamas School of Hospitality at 6:30 p.m. and participate. ERCA will also launch its Innovation and Connection competition in commemoration of the 150th anniversary of the ITU.
The Bahamas experienced record heat in April. Well, it's staying hot in May at Super Value and Quality supermarkets with sizzling savings like Carno Cream, the large can, 99 cents. Ocean Spray Cranberry Juice, 60-ounce can, $4.99. Vitamol Tonic, the can or bottle, the 12-ounce size, 99 cents. Value Time Foam Plate, the 40-count, $1.69. Chicken leg quarters, the 10-pound bag, 89 cents per pound. All that and more at Super Value and Quality supermarkets, your Bahamian supermarkets.
Thought that 4G had the fastest mobile data speeds? Well, it did, until BTC brought you the scorching fast speeds of 4G LTE. LTE is 5 times faster, 5 times smoother, and 5 times better than regular 4G. Download MP3s and apps in the blink of an eye. Stream movies at explosively fast speeds. Once you experience the scorching fast mobile data speeds of 4G LTE, your life will never be the same. Live the experience with LTE, only at BTC every day.
All of our parents were ambassadors of tourism at one time or the other. Your mom and dad and their mama and papa built this country squarely on providing a first-class tourism product. They smiled, they entertained, they shared their culture with the guests who came from far and wide, and they made tourism the #1 industry of our country. They did something more. They left us, the new generation of Bahamians, in charge of the goose that lays the golden egg, tourism. We can't fail them or our country. We must keep the tradition alive by doing the little things that mean a lot. A welcoming smile, a friendly wave, and a clean surrounding. After all, this is the beautiful Bahamas, an island nation of beautiful people who continue to make it happen. And that's why it's better in the Bahamas.
The choices we make can make us, like who we turn to for investment and retirement advice. Choosing CFAL means having a trusted advisor on your side, helping you build wealth and meet your financial goals. We manage pension assets for businesses and offer individual plans to help you design a secure retirement. We can provide brokerage services and comprehensive research support for clients needing a little more investment guidance. CFAL can help you build a portfolio you can be proud of. Visit us at cfal.com. CFAL sees your future.
Steve McKinney, a show off the chin.
I feel Mr. McKinney is excellent, he's professional in his field, and he takes care of all issues.
I listen to Hard Copy. I like to hear various viewpoints, and it helps.
Hard Copy is my show. Steve McKinney is my man.
It is Friday, the 15th day of May, 2015. As you battle the congested city streets and drive home traffic, we have a mixture of sun and cloud. 84 degrees in the nation's capital right now. No showers in the vicinity this afternoon, but there'll be some showers later on tonight, chance of 10% later tonight. Thank you so much for joining us on the drive home. I'm Steve McKinney. This is Hard Copy. We're brought to you today by the Utilities Regulations and Competition Authority, IRCA. We're also brought to you today by Bank in the Bahamas, the Bank of Solutions, BTC Every Day, Super Value, the All Bahamian Supermarkets, the McKinney Media Group for effective PR concepts and advertisements, Island Made Products, Ministry of Tourism, the Department of Labor, bachelor's degree. Notice if you hold a bachelor's degree in any of the sciences. You want to go and register today because they've got big jobs in the country. Another big weekend, and we're going to be talking about that today in this first hour. Advantage Insurance and Brokers, 61 Collins Avenue. Super Wash, the All Bahamian Super Wash across the nation, like the All Bahamian Super Value. And of course, Ron's Electric Motors, Sky Bahamas, CFAL, Cleaner Financial Advisors Limited, Executive Printers, Henry F. Store, the Light People on Mackey Street, and the Blue Ultra Pure Drinking Water, the official water of Hard Copy. You can call me today on Hard Copy, 325-0235 or 6 in this first hour. Go to the top box of the cable, 970. Tune in radio around the world on your iPad, iPhone, any Android. You can get us. Follow us on Facebook, Hard Copy, and on Twitter, Hard Copy Bahamas. Also go to our streaming at www.peace1075.com. You can also send me a text on the BlackBerry at 376-9234. This afternoon, I've got visitors in from Chicago. There's a big weekend happening here in the Bahamas. Mother to Mother. You've been hearing the commercial on the station, Raising Champions. It's a big weekend, and they've got special guests in town for that. We want to give a little of some good publicity to that because we want you to be a part of it. And it's for a major worthy effort. Farm Fresh is a part of it. Farm Fest, not Fresh. Farm Fest is a part of it. And also the CEO Network, Debbie Bartlett and Company, and Bishop Lawrence Roll, the Singing Prophet. So you know this is going to be interesting. It's this weekend. And we're looking forward to a lot of things. The 17th over at the Hilton. And Deborah Bartlett joins me this afternoon, along with a special guest in town, Reverend or Pastor Jolinda Wade from Chicago. And she's no regular anybody. She's a wonderful sister and somebody who knows exactly this conversation that we want to have today about mother to mother. And we are kind of like almost the same when it comes to the kind of unique problems that we have in our country. Chicago, of course, and the Bahamas. We're right up there with the kind of things that happen in the big world, especially in an area of crime and so many other things. And so I'm happy that you're here. Welcome. Welcome to the Bahamas.
Welcome. Thank you so much. I feel very welcome.
Wonderful. Debbie Bartlett, how are you today?
Wonderful. A joy to be here and listen to you. You're doing a phenomenal job as usual. Of course, you know, I like to compare not with what we do great locally, but you certainly world class.
I appreciate that. That's a nice compliment today. I need that to boost me up today. That's
true.
When we get to Fridays, Pastor, it's rough. When we get to Fridays, you're tired and burnt out. But we hope that we can talk and lively up things here today, because I know that this is a major undertaking. And I perhaps I should start with Debbie Bartlett, Deborah Bartlett, Dr. Deborah Bartlett, giving me some background to what this is all about, how this came about, why is this important? And it's so timely. We just had Mother's Day, but not only that, it's timely because we've got problems. Our problems are, it is the same. That's the best way I can put it. Problems in Chicago, problems around the world, problems in all of these places where our sons are, being dealt with by the police, and our sons need a lot of mother tender care and guidance, that kind of stuff. And a lot of them who don't listen to what mommy says anyway. And so we've got serious problems that mothers who are very special in nurturing young people and who have a whole lot to give. Mothers are full of love and compassion and humility and determination. And of course, they're also full of hope. So there is hope in this kind of a thing, right, Deborah Bartlett?
Well,
give me that background.
You asked a very important question. How did we get here? And I believe the way we got here is a microcosm of what we need to do to restore order and love and strengthen our homes.
Mm-hmm.
Bishop Lawrence Roll has been hosting an annual Mother's Day conference for 21 years. And he came to me and he said, I want to take it to another level.
Yeah, well, he talked to the right person.
Yeah, well,
the CEO Network. You can
you.
make some things happen.
Yes, he said, we have to get the international community involved. And I want to add another day. And I spoke to the mother of Magic Johnson, Mrs. Christine Johnson, and Jackie Day, who is a partner and one of her best friends in the world, because they host and support a movement in the United States called Mother to Mother. And I said, you know what? When we look at Magic Johnson, Christine Johnson, and Mrs. Johnson, it introduced me on the phone with several NBA mothers, particularly Pastor Jolinda Wade. I said, well, they are really nurturing champions. Mrs. Johnson
That's where
has
this
7
came from.
children. This is where
Raising
it came
champions.
from. Raising champions. And I said, but they are raising champions that the world can see. In the Bahamas, we have champions that the world cannot see, because there are so many of us who are in the trenches, in the fight, being knocked out by crime and getting back up. And what we have with Pastor Wade, she was right down where a lot of our people are. In the dumps. Of course, we know that Pastor Wade was a heroin addict, was a cocaine addict, lived in the ghetto, had her son Dwayne Wade while she was in that mess. But she got up, the champion in her, got up and was determined and took her son out of the environment, and she could tell the rest of the
And now
story.
her son is speaking to the world just by his movements, which means that you had it in you. You might have made some mistakes, and many mothers are making mistakes. I can tell you before you start talking that recently we had a mother who took her life with her children and just drove overboard and took her life. That impacted me in a big way, and many people in the Bahamas. And we've been seeing this kind of thing because it is rough being a mother. It is rough, I suppose, trying to come up and raise children who almost don't have a chance, especially if they're black children in many countries. That's just the way it is. You got up to do some things to raise a champion, so you must have been a champion yourself. Tell us about those experiences and why it is so important for you to speak that story to so many women today in the Bahamas who got it rough and tumble. They don't know how they're going to make ends meet. They don't know what to do. And a lot of people in our country and elsewhere in the Caribbean and elsewhere in the world are doing, especially women, doing unspeakable things because they don't see any way out.
Yeah, I guess I can really identify with them because what's lacking is the men having that man voice or that man image in the home.
That authority,
so it falls on the woman now to raise a boy into a man, and that's not an easy feat to do.
Imagine.
And so that's how a lot of them get lost because they're looking and they're searching for somebody that look like them. But the women, which I'm pulling from my mom still did everything that was basically right with us. It was 9 of us. She did everything that was basically right, but we still went in the direction in which we chose to go in. That's why I tell people today, don't blame it on my mama that I was a heroin addict. Don't blame it on my mama that I was an alcoholic. Don't blame it on my mama because I lived a homeless life. I chose that particular road. Yeah, I didn't know it was going to take me that far, but God, praise God. One thing I shared today was that my son, which a lot of people know, you don't know, his name is Dwayne Wade of the Miami Heat. I have 3 more champions. They're girls. I have Deanna, Keisha, and Trigil. They saw their mom, the one that they believed was a champion. They saw me fall. And then they saw me stay down to the point where I didn't get up. And they cried and they wept and I found out they were praying for me because one thing my mother did was took them kids to church, even though I didn't. So a lot of us mamas and grandmamas, we got to grab the hands.
No question about it.
Stop fussing at the kid. Go on and take your kid, take your grandbaby to church. Pray for them because they will come out. They will come out and they will be able to stand up and be the mother they're supposed to be. When Dwayne got called to the league, I didn't feel like I was a mother. I felt like a rug on the floor.
Is that right?
Oh yeah. My self-esteem was all messed up. I didn't feel like I contributed anything to help this kid get to where he had got at. So my mother, the mother in me, had laid down and she had died. So I thought. But God sends people in your life that's got a way of resurrecting you and making you see things differently. And that's what I believe this conference is going to be. This Mothers to Mother Raising Champions. I believe it's going to be powerful. It's going to be awesome because we're going to be able to talk. At least Jolinda Wade going to be able to talk to somebody who don't feel like they worthy, who feel like they got it wrong, who so caught up in the situation, circumstance around them that they don't even realize they're champion themselves.
Yeah.
They have no idea. I didn't know I was a champion. Didn't nobody tell me I was. They told me I was everything but I was a champion. I put inside of them children what I had to put in them at the time that I put in them, and God used it. He said he works all things out for the good. He used it for the good and grew me up and made me into the person now who's not afraid to stand up and to tell mothers, to tell them it's hope.
Yeah.
It's hope. And once we can get our kids back, all we have to do is stop trying to be their buddy. Let's be the parent that we have been called to be. Let's not try to give them too much room. There's no discipline there. We done moved it out, right? Dwayne a grown man today, but it's discipline. And so that respect that he have for me is still yet there at 33 years old.
Yeah. And you're obviously proud of this. his accomplishments and that of your three girls, because, you know, and you are a champion because, you know, really the truth is you could have chucked them to the side. You know, here you are, you're on your way, you know, you're into your cocaine, you're into your whatever, and you're doing your thing, and, you know, nobody can tell you nothing. You're your own woman at this point, and you want to do what you feel like. And we've got many situations like that right now.
Yeah.
And I'm sure your mother told you stuff like, well, listen, Jolinda, leave that man alone. Jolinda,
Yeah.
get away from that company.
Yes.
Jolinda, leave that boy. He means you no good. All kinds of stuff, I'm sure. Our people hear that all the time today. These are common stories, but for some reason, they're so commonplace that people shrug their shoulders and say, yeah, well, you know, no big deal. There's no impact in that. But you walked the road where when you found yourself, you had to go and do some things to make sure you can bring those children up. And I started to say, and I want you to talk to me about that, because I think it's a very powerful something here today, that on a Friday we can talk this, because many people right now are getting ready to do all kinds of things. A lot of them unspeakable things. We can't even say what they're going to do. All right, because things tough. They got to pay some bills. They want some stuff that, you know, to glamour up. And they do almost anything. Not everybody, but there are some who are like that. And we have to be real. And then there are some who their kids aren't going to see them, and they send them off to some cousin or some neighbor's house or something because they got things to do this weekend, that kind of a stuff. But there you are doing some things, and something happened, and you made a turnaround. But at the same time, you did not abandon your children to the point where you threw them in the garbage bin. You didn't throw them away. You didn't give up hope, even though you knew that you perhaps was off base. You found a way to make sure that they were safe. Talk to me about that.
You know what? But I don't know if you all know the part of the story, but actually, the hardest thing that I did have to do was to release Dwayne to his father, because my life was so messed up. The man that was in my world, oh, he's the type that was beating you just because. And I didn't want Dwayne to see that. I'm not going to say his daddy had the best life, but it was better than what I had. So it takes a mother. It takes a real strong mother to release her child for the betterment instead of keeping them in that dump garbage mess that will eventually become a part of them, that eventually will mold and make them into that person. It takes a strong woman. And I didn't know at the time. I thought I was a failure. But I found out just making that decision right there alone, that helped into me helping to make Dwayne a champion.
Well, that's fantastic. And of course, your three girls, they're doing wonderfully well, of course, and they're all proud of you, aren't they?
Yes.
And feeling today is completely different. You don't feel like a rug anymore.
No.
You feel like a champion.
Yes.
You feel like you've got a message to give some people.
Yes.
And that's why it's supposed to everybody it's important for people to come out to this conference that's going to be held at the Hilton. Tell me a little bit more about the conference, why this is that very important in our sense of what is happening here in the Bahamas. Put it in context.
You know, more than 80% of the young men and women that appear before the courts come from single parent homes. The other reality is that most of them don't know their fathers. One of the things that we ought to really look and pay attention to in our country, in my humble submission, is that we have a self-esteem crisis. Love is known by the action it prompts. Anyone who responds to a challenge because a champion is able to take a hold of the challenge and conquer it, have the trial not consume but refine. So that lady that you talked about at the top of the program allowed her challenge to consume her. She went to Bishop Lawrence Roll a few weeks before, and Bishop Lawrence Roll fed her.
Is that right?
Yes. But sometimes what we do, because we have not identified with the pain, the struggles, the circumstances, we dismiss, we reject with our attitudes towards one another. Rejection means to throw away. So we can only have a self-esteem crisis with increasing crime, with the level of AIDS is under control because of medication, with the deepening levels of poverty, because of a culture of rejection. Why is this important? Because there are some principles that, and all principles, never ever discriminate. The mere fact that Bishop Lawrence Roll was able to say, here is my strength. This is my core competency. This is what I do best, but I don't do that part best. Would you join me to make it better? And the CEO network was able to say, I'm happy to do that. This is yours. We will serve you. Farm Fest. He said, Farm Fest. And I said, well, the person to do the music and the media best is Farm Fest with the sound. So it's helping each other succeed. The conference is important because the more we can show what the solution is, if we always describe the problem without the prescription. And what we do not do, and this is why I commend you, Steve, and the media leaders who are a part of recognizing the invisible sign on all of us that reads, I am important too. What we are doing to families this weekend is that we are laying out the red carpet and say, it is not only Dwayne Wade who can walk the red carpet. It is your son and daughter who is the best plumber, who is the best doctor, who is the best carpenter, who is the champion. And not all of the families are perfect because all of us got something in our lives or in our children's lives, but we are looking for those mothers who have a value on their good name, who reward productivity, and who have love. And that's why it's important. And if we want to see this country change, family comes from a word, famulus, which means to serve. When we can find people with similar vision and values and take out that jostling and that jealousy and say, look, this is going to be good for our country. Let's come out there. We know that Bishop Lawrence Roll feeds hundreds of people every day, don't get the support that he needs. But guess what? He is choosing and celebrating my mother for 21 years, taking out of his pocket and feeding 200 mothers. So let's go out there to Golden Gates. I don't have anything to do with it, you know. I have nothing. I didn't know anything, but to say, it's just that a Bahamian asked me and I could help. So I reached out and I called Dr. Christine Johnson and Jalinda Wade and Beverly Crawford and say, let's stand
Some
together.
powerful women.
So with these powerful women, let them meet some powerful Bahamian women and let us call. And the final thing I want to say, Steve, is that Pastor Wade said something is key. She said that the challenge is that we don't have the men there and we got to look at bringing them up. Woman comes from the word ish, which means to influence. And so we are calling on women to use our influence to uplift our good men. And then we're going to have better boys, better girls, better men, stronger women.
So you're looking at changing the paradigm here because what is happening here, Bishop Lawrence Roll, very, very, very humble man. And of course, you're looking at Deborah Bartlett, who has a lot of connections in the United States. It's good to see that you all have been able to network together and do something because we do need any kind of other story that is a reflection of our own story, but we don't talk about it. And so quietly, we're going through this whole meltdown in the Bahamas of women who really are very powerful and beautiful and who are really leaders in our country, but who don't have sufficient support. And there is, just like in the United States and any place else, there is that delinquent individual male most of the times that may not have a lot to do with the rearing and bringing up of children. We have a serious problem with single mothers in the Bahamas. 87% thereabout of single mothers. That's phenomenal. That means that we're doing things where people are giving birth out of wedlocks, young children at the age of 12, 13, 14 having children. They can nurture. And in many cases, the grandmother figure is not there, which may be uncommon in your ears to hear, but that's just the way it is. A grandmother could be somebody at the age of 30 or age of 28, that kind of a thing. And it's not commonplace, but it is happening in some areas. We are concerned about that. And perhaps we need a heart-to-heart talk with some people who have come up the rough side of the mountain, who are of the same kind, woman to woman. I suppose that's why he got this name.
Yeah.
Because a man really can't go in and sit there and really say much what a woman goes through, because a woman, she is the mother, she is the gatekeeper, she is the one who would do whatever has to be done to give survival to those children. She has a survival mechanism in her. And the man would never know that. The man is a hunter. The man will go and perhaps go and provide if he could, or go and hunt, or go and sleep. But he's out. It means just out. The man is out doing something, hunting, hopefully to bring some money home for the family. That's just the way it is. And the women are supposed to be the caregivers to make sure that all things are right and keep that home thing going in many. And I don't mean this literally by saying that women aren't to work. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the fact that they have a responsibility to do a number of things to nurture that family and to keep it together.
Yeah.
The Bible talks about a foolish woman will pull her house down by her own hands. That's how powerful a woman is. Because if she was to take the attitude that, well, you know what? This fella ain't doing his thing. I just can just disintegrate. We see our women, and we have to commend them, doing a number of things to try to survive the family. And they do need the support. And so I'm happy that you're here, Pastor Jolinda Wade, because you have a powerful story, a powerful testimony. And maybe if we can get young mothers in particular to come out to this particular event this weekend. It's a big weekend. Saturday, it is a whole red carpet affair and gala banquet at the British Colonial Hilton. It starts at 7 o'clock, and the tickets are $150.
The red carpet starts at 6.
The red, okay.
And we have coming up in a few minutes, the lady who does the red carpet for the Stella Awards is going to be here, so it's going to be a real treat. And we're going to have the mothers, the 13 mothers who will be honored on Saturday with their families, with their champions, that champion the mother and their spouse, if there is a spouse. And I say also, Steve, we are not just talking about the mothers who have biological children, but women of worth who are surrogate mothers. But so at 6 o'clock, we're encouraging you to please come out.
This is
even
at the
if
Hilton.
you're not at the Hilton, even if you're not going into the banquet, come cheer on our families. We go out, and you should go out to the game. IAAF, man, I was there cheering on from the TV set, but let's cheer. Let us go ahead and cheer our families as they go in, and of course, come in and support.
And then on Sunday, the 17th, is the annual Mother's Day concert. This is where Lawrence Rowe will, I suppose, be performing in.
Oh, yes. Man, we were
now people love that, and they love to see him perform, so that's great. That's going to happen at Golden Gates Ministries International, starting at 7, eh?
Yes.
On Sunday?
Yes.
Sunday evening?
Yes.
And tickets are $15.
I understand the gate is open at 5 because people are there from that time. And actually,
this is a fixture. This part of it is a fixture.
Yeah, so to really be there at 6 o'clock because it is something to experience.
Why is it so important, Pastor Jolinda Wade? You hail from Chicago. Why is it so important that people understand what it is that women feel in rearing a child or trying to make something happen for family? What is it that people don't get on an average? You see people every day, you don't know what they're going through. You see women that work, you don't know what people are going through. But a lot of pressure is being applied, perhaps even self-inflicted, because of the many things that the mother or the woman of these children may want and is not in a position to gain, and all kinds of things happen, from infidelity to abuse to abandonment. What is it that women need to be aware of that can be a breaking point? Because some women, they just will break apart if a fella leaves them, or if they can't pay a bill. What are those things? And you've been at rock bottom, I would take it, and you've come back, and you are a pastor who have rebounded and have done so many things around the world, and I suppose preaching a message. What are those breaking point things that people ought to look for? And what are those signs of the breaking point, especially for women who are listening today and may want to, kind of like do some introspection as to where they really are as a mother and a woman?
I feel like we as mothers, as women, we need to first of all examine ourselves. What are we showing our little girl, because they usually mimic what they see. And what I have, it's just really heavy on my heart, but what I have seen is that they have so much emotion that's balled up in them, and they don't know what to do with it. They don't know how. They look at, how do you react when your boyfriend leave you, mama? You know, how do you handle your situation? And so usually that it goes down the line and down the line, not unless somebody, the mothers band together, and you ain't got to take a whole lot of them. You can take just one. You can take one, you can take one, everybody can take one, and then we can start developing them. It says being transformed by the renewing of your mind. We can start teaching and training them. That would be the most powerful things to do.
No
Parents
question.
standing up and admitting, I messed up. I messed up. And the reason I do it like this here, because my mama did it like, but that don't make it right. You know,
The
can we
multiplicity
do
of
that?
wrongdoings, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
that doesn't make it right at all. But I mean, in your circumstances, I mean, a lot of things happen. How did you rebound? Because there are women today, Pastor Jolinda, who in fact are right down and out. They're their last, the last straw, if you will. They're at their wits' end. They can't take it no more. I mean, and many of them don't know what to do except leave this place before their time.
Yeah.
I mean, to come back from the things that you came back from, there are people now with addiction. How do you speak to that? What is the determining factor? What is the thing that carried you through? Did you find God, and how did this happen for you to find yourself back on the road? Because heroin addiction is no easy thing. Alcoholism is no easy thing. To come back and to stand steady and to do a whole new ministry after coming back and cleaning up, that must have been a very, very difficult process. What's the beginning factor for people who may be in that position, especially women?
Well, with me, God had once again a wise mother, which was my mother before me, who once she got it that talking about me and judging me wasn't working, she decided to come to know me where I was at. And so
she where you were.
Yeah, she met me where I was at and invited me to church. Cause I wasn't gonna come in there as long as she talked the way she talked. The spirit that had control of me kept me away. But then she started pouring that love on me and inviting me to church, and no matter how I looked or how I smelled. And I went in. And then I started taking my other little crew in, and I started going in. And I was.
Because you wanted to be better off.
I was tired. I was tired. And I know a lot of you out there now, you're listening to us, you tired. I even contemplated suicide, but I saw my children before me, and I said, no, that's not how I want to go. And I told the Lord, you got to help me. Now, I didn't know when, why. I just said something, because I was in an emotional place. But I woke up the next morning dope sick. I woke up the next morning wanting me some wine. I didn't want to talk to God at that particular moment because I was doing a bad thing. But every time I got medicated, I wanted to be around God. Kept going to church, Steve.
Wow.
The Bible says that the word of God is alive, is powerful. That word started working. Matter of fact, that word developed a voice in my spirit and started talking to me. That word said, having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof. That word was letting me know as I went deeper in, party over with. So it was a choice.
Yeah.
It's time to choose, Jolinda. And I dread to think that if I didn't choose the road that I chose, where I be today, if I be living, because a lot of people that I drugged with, they're not here to tell this story. I chose to get out. I wanted to get out. And all I know, this voice, that it wasn't me speaking, it wasn't the devil talking to me, because he'll never tell me, I was on escape from the law. So he'll never tell me to go back to jail, because he knew once I went back, then I was finna become this new creature in Christ. And so I just followed the voice of the Lord. I followed the lead that I believe was him, and turned myself in, and it's been history ever since. That person died. That it was a funeral for that Jolinda. That was it. What I want someone out there to get right now is that no matter how bad you think that thing is, you worth something. God want to use that thing that you just went through for his glory. He can pick you up, lift you up, and take you to the highest height. Who would have ever thought? Jolinda Wade, 5-bedroom, abandoned building, now live in a 5-bedroom home. Who would have ever thought? Who would have ever thought that child that I brought out of my womb, God was going to use in order to give me a platform to stand on for his glory? Who would God would do the same thing for you like he did for me? Wow. All you have to do is just give.
Yeah.
Just
and be determined.
Be determined. You got to fight. Yeah. It's not easy. It's not easy, but it's worth it. You got to fight.
And you have no regrets.
Oh no, sir.
Yeah.
No, sir. Ain't going back. Ain't going back. Don't think that it don't come and holler at me. I see it.
Yeah.
But it's nothing enticing about it.
Yeah. But
I like that. It comes all
no. It's minute today.
Yeah.
It used to be huge and overtake me. Now you got to get a micro.
To look for it. If it's there. Yeah. Understood.
Hallelujah.
Yeah. Well, that's a great.
Yeah. I wanted to be a mother.
Yeah.
Again, I wanted to be a grandmother. My kids was getting ready to have kids. I wanted that back. I felt like the devil stole that from me.
Yeah.
And God gave it back to me. Double fold.
God is good. It is right now 5:45. We're on today. We're talking about Mother to Mother, Raising Champions. It's an event that's going to happen. It's been happening now for the past 21 years, at least the actual Mother's Day concert part of it. But now there's a new twist to it. Debbie Bartlett has gotten involved with Bishop Lawrence Rule, and we know him, the singing prophet. Everybody loves him. And as a result of that, they've brought a number of international speakers in town for this big event on Saturday and Sunday. And of course, there's conference to go with this as well. And there's going to be a lot of outpouring and testimonies being given and lectures, I suppose, in a way, speaking to women of our country. And we all need as much help as we can get in various areas of our development. And we see what is happening here in our own country. We've got a serious problem with crime and a serious problem with mothers who are crying in the streets when their sons are shot down. And we always, everybody says, my good son. There's another element here that there's absence, even when mothers are around, and they may not be on drugs, they may not be doing alcohol, but they have been negligent in many regards, not disciplining their children, not showing them the right way to go, not enforcing that, if this ain't yours, take it to who it belongs to. Don't let people things worry you. If you can do it out. These are things, admonitions that were brought down to many of us when we were young, growing up. But today we don't hear those kinds of good advice coming from senior people in our families, like our parents, like our mothers, those who are supposed to be givers of love and nurturers of the good things in life. We don't hear that. We have so many young people, they don't even know these things in many regards. They don't have the grandmother figure there where, mama will tell them certain things and they pass it on. We've lost that in many regards here in the Bahamas. And as a result of it, many of our mothers are crying when something goes wrong in the family, or there is some murder, or there's some shooting. And we're getting too much of that now. And you're from Chicago. You've seen that firsthand. I want us to talk in a minute when we come back from a break about these kinds of things. How important, Deborah Bartlett, is it? How important, Pastor Jolinda Wade, how important is it for mothers to understand that they are so powerful that they can make their son a prince or they can make him a demon? They can, how important is that? Because mothers love these kids so much that there's no discipline. They figure if I don't want to spank him, I don't want to correct him because I don't want him to be mad with me. This is my son. This is my only son. That kind of stuff. I want you to speak to that because that's very important as we talk today. Absolutely. But let's run to the break and come back in a minute. This is Hard Copy Special Edition on this Friday. Something for you to think about to rock you in your mentality today. The kind of things that you ought to be doing. Introspection. Everybody has, most mothers have children. All mothers have children. Most mothers who have sons, though, is what I want to say, have them in a different category from the girls. The girls may get more disciplined. Don't do that. Don't do this. Watch that fella you're talking to. But the son gets a free ride. And then later on, the son may be the one who brings the embarrassment and brings shame to mom and pain. We're concerned about that. Let's talk about that when we come back here this afternoon on Hard Copy.
Mother to mother, let's face it, it's tough raising children. Yet despite the challenges that you may face, many of you are raising champions. And we want to celebrate you. The CEO Network, Farm Press International, and Bishop Lawrence Roll presents the first annual Mother to Mother Raising Champions Weekend, featuring Magic Johnson's mom, Dr. Christine Johnson, and Pastor Jolinda Wade, mother of Dwayne Wade. A gala banquet on Saturday, May 16th, 7 p.m. at the British Colonial Hilton. Tickets are $150 and available at Forsyth Communications, Rosetta Street, and the Singing Bishop's Delight Store on Market Street and Palm Tree Avenue. Join the Singing Bishop, Lawrence Roll, at the 21st Annual Mother's Day Concert on Sunday, May 17th, 7 p.m., featuring gospel recording artist Beverly Crawford at the Golden Gates Ministries International, Carmichael Road. Tickets are $50 in advance and $20 at the door. Help us celebrate our mothers. The first annual Mother to Mother Raising Champions Weekend, May 16th and 17th.
The Department of Labor is encouraging all Bahamian job seekers who hold a bachelor's degree to register immediately with the department. Bahamians with bachelor's degree register without delay, as there is now a great demand for such persons in various professions in the job market. Register now at the Department of Labor, Clarence Green Building, Thompson Boulevard, or at the Robinson Road location, or at the Department of Labor in any family violence. For more information, call 302-2550 or 302-2562.
The Utilities Regulation and Competition Authority, ERCA, presents ICT Innovation and Connectivity, a report on the status of the electronic communications sector in the Bahamas and its 2014 activities. Join ERCA's board, members, and staff on Thursday, May 21st at the College of the Bahamas School of Hospitality at 6:30 p.m. and participate. ERCA will also launch its Innovation and Connection competition in commemoration of the 150th anniversary of the ITU.
Thought that 4G had the fastest mobile data speeds? Well, it did, until BTC brought you the scorching fast speeds of 4G LTE. LTE is 5 times faster, 5 times smoother, and 5 times better than regular 4G. Download MP3s and apps in the blink of an eye. Stream movies at explosively fast speeds. Once you experience the scorching fast mobile data speeds of 4G LTE, your life will never be the same. Live the experience with LTE, only at BTC every day.
At Ron's Electric Motors, they repair and rewind all major brands of electric motors, heat and cooling water pumps, generators and generators back end, welding machines, electric lifts, air compressors, battery chargers, and more. They're equipped to handle up to 850 kilowatts and rewind up to 450 horsepower motors. They're conveniently located on the corner of Wolf and Clarence Roads and are open weekdays 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturdays till noon. They offer 24 hours emergency assistance. You can reach them on 242-356-0249.
Let me share this with you. How you're the best. You were so good till one day I pulled up to the gas station to get some gas, and when I reversed, I should have gone forward and I went backwards. I bumped this man's car. He said, "Miss, what happened? You under stress?" I said, "Yes, sir." But I wasn't under stress. I was so much into listening to your talk show.
Be careful now.
That's what happened. And your station is number one.
Welcome back to Hard Copy, Mother to Mother Raising Champions. It's a big weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Bishop Lawrence Roll has a lot to do with it. So does the CEO Network with Debbie Bartlett. And, of course, Farm Fest International. It's a big weekend. We've got in town this weekend Jolinda Wade, a pastor from Chicago. She is the mother of Dwayne Wade of the Miami Heat. And, of course, we also have Dr. Christine Johnson. And we're going to talk in a minute with Beverly Crawford. You know that songbird. She's going to be here this weekend. She's one of the participating artists, but the big event happens over at the Golden Gates Ministries International on Carmichael Road. So it's a big weekend. If you're a mother and you want to be motivated, inspired, and encouraged, you want to make sure that you get a ticket for the Mother to Mother Raising Champions big weekend. And we were saying just before the break, there was something I had to get from Pastor Jolinda Wade before I let her go and bring some others in here this afternoon before we end at 6:15. And that is, I started to talk about, with both you and Dr. Debbie Bartlett, about this whole key where there's so much love, or so it seems, for these sons that we have, that women have, that mothers have, that they're so special in their sight. and there's not that much corrective steps taken to make sure that they can be the best that they can be because of this sweet mother's love that nobody can understand. And sometimes that love goes beyond to the point where it is painful and not helpful. So how do we deal with this thing? Because really there's not enough discipline. There's not enough nurturing in this area, though we feel as if we are doing that as parents, and though mothers feel that they're doing the right thing. Speak to how that can really hurt in the long run if, in fact, these things are not put in check. And that's our situation in the Bahamas. A lot of our sons are dying at 22, 25, 28, and we are seeing too many funerals. There's a reason for that. Something, because sons listen to mom. The sons would listen to their mom before they listen to any daddy. Daddy's an old frog, we ain't into him. But boy, mommy say, mommy, man, that's my mommy, but you can't even say in the Bahamas none but nobody's mother. And that's perhaps universal. But I'm saying sons would, to me, it seems like they would listen to mom. But mom is not speaking the language to them in a way where it works in their favor, if you understand what I'm saying. How do we reconcile that? How do we fix that? How do we get that restoration in there to make sure our sons are not going to be in bad company, not going to join gangs, not going to be shot down the streets, not because mothers have that influence over them?
Amen. You know what? Deborah says something about we are as women are influencer. And you're right. We don't use our influence wisely when it comes to raising up our boys and to the men. Not all of us. You got some that put their feet down and they guide them along the way, and some of them come up all right. But the majority, because my mother was one of them, that showed more favoritism toward the boy, and us girls got jealous of it because it looked like she was a little harder on us. And my brothers, they went into drug addiction. They went into all that type of stuff there because the discipline was gone. But what we can do, what I praise God for, bringing me up and out of the place that I was in, because I came up now with different eyes and I see differently. I asked him, tell me how to raise a man. I asked God, I need your help in this area here. And he needs discipline. Our boys, our sons need somebody that would tell them the truth, irregardless of how the consequences might turn out. They respect that. Because one thing a man needs, the Bible talk about it, is respect. So it's the way that we rear them, not hollering at them and knocking them aside their head and all that, because that's not a good way to discipline and raising them, but sitting them down and talking to them, but you still yet sitting in your authoritative place as the parent, as
not buddies.
Mother. No, we can't be buddies when I'm doing this. We can't be buddies in that form, because if we buddies, then you're gonna bring me down to your level, and you might bring me lower, the way that the children are today. So that's what I feel. I feel just going, face to face, head to head with them, and not parents act like they're afraid of these kids today. They show fear, and a child can sense fear. Don't show no fear. You know what I mean? You ain't got to threaten me. I feel like I brought you here. I'll take you out. You know how they told us that back in the day.
Let me come upside your head.
Said, try it, But I noticed that when I talk to Dwayne, as long as I talk to him in a respectable manner, I don't raise my voice at him. I just voice how I feel about it, this and that. And he said, I hear you, Mom. Thank you. Giving him something to think about, because you men, y'all's brain don't work like ours. Y'all
Absolutely
only pick up a few things every now and then.
We're slow. You can say it. We're slow.
So I'm glad. I praise God for T.D. Jakes. He told me about the men brain, which I didn't know. But so we need, as mothers, we need to learn about the men. We need to learn about our boys, about our sons, and that way we'll be able to see how can we help develop.
See, a woman is such a great influencer. I don't get it that we are losing our sons, and that our sons love their moms. They may not love dad, and dad may not have been there as much as mom has been there. And so a mother with that kind of influence, Debbie Wilder, should be able to you're not going to save all, but to make such an impact that our boys will be great boys and great respecters of law and order because mom said so.
You hit the solution. Law and order. You know why? We are breaking the laws. Anytime we see dysfunctional behavior, We are breaking laws in our homes. My mother and father, they got divorced eventually, but my brothers, I shouldn't tell you all this, but tell you anyhow, they better cooks than me. They do housework better than I do too. They are absolutely great. They are disciplined. I had to take out the garbage. They had to take out the garbage. I had to clean up my room. They had to clean. We did everything together. And just as you said, if my father had to beat us, and my father just passed a couple of weeks ago, but you know, eventually my mother and father just had to look at us, and we calm right down, because my mother used to take me up by my ear and lift me from the ground. Or my father, if he did his lip and hit you one thing across your back, you didn't want to have that anymore. But at the same time, we were loved. We were taught to work. If we said we want something extra, they said you have to work extra. There was nothing free. We had to be respectful. Any adult that came into our presence, we had to say, if they were good friends of my parents, Auntie Jalinda, not Jalinda. We never heard our parents curse. What? And so I can't even understand that you go into a public place today and they cursing in front of everybody. That is not who we could not come and bring somebody's ruler. We could not bring anything in the house without giving account to it. Take it back. Call. Now, the final thing I'll say, there's the same thing in the corporate world. When you and I worked at the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas, I felt very grieved when I took over as Assistant General Manager of Television. You would recall that there was a reputation for the production department as being louses. Am I telling the truth?
Yes.
Okay. Now, because we call somebody that, they become it. And so when the conversation changed and the respect was obvious with the boundaries established, because when we're going to move this country out, what we have to do now is shift our behavior, and it shouldn't be sudden in imposing the discipline. So even the Bible says, if somebody offends you, this is where we go around. This is where the law and order is going out. Somebody offends you, what do? We talk to everybody about what you're offended about except the person. And so then you have a greater schism between the relationship. And then we don't go through the process of bringing somebody as a witness and going to the final mark. And then if we say we can hang. Because you also have to deliver on your promises of a blessing and your promises of discipline. Final thing I'll say. So as we went through production, I'll never forget this young man. They were always late, Pastor. And so I said, what do you want in life? I took each one of them, asked them what they want in life. How could I help you get there? This is where the Broadcasting Corporation wants to come. How can we move this as a team? I said, one of the things we got to do now, I can help you, and you're going to do what is right for the corporation. And I said, one of the things you have to do is stop coming late. I'm not going to have it. Now, I can talk to you for a couple of times, and then after that, I'm going to throw the book at you. So I put on the wall the words that he who loves knowledge is wise, and he who hates discipline is stupid. So when this particular young man came into the office and I was about to throw the books at him to suspend him, I already sent a couple warning letters to him. I said, no, you have one more time after this. And if you come to late work tomorrow, then you know what I have to do. I'm going to have to suspend you. I said, you understand, right? He said, you think I stupid, eh? And he and he broke out laughing. So he embraced discipline because he was respected. We were patient with the process. And what we believe as surrogate mothers or mothers, that when we discipline our sons, they're not going to love us as much. I think if we understand that when we discipline in love and we submit to the laws, we're going to see stronger sons.
And they will love you even more.
And they will love you even more.
They say, thank you, Mom.
Can I add this point that also speaking on behalf of moms who do stand up and do try to raise their sons in the right manner, or their children, because girls done got a little crazy wild too. You know, the government that came in, and the government that came in our homes now, and if they don't start telling the mothers how to raise their kids, it gave them permission to call the police on their parents. So you have a lot of parents that, well, you know, they're gonna have to kill me if you're gonna call the police on me. So they also came in and helped weaken the situation that's going on with our children.
Yeah. Well, listen, I'm happy that you stopped by today, Pastor Jolinda Wade, mother of Dwayne Wade of the Miami Heat. She's in town for this weekend, and you ought to be a part of it. It's going to happen over at the Golden Gates Ministries on Sunday, and on Saturday over at the Hilton. There are tickets that are on sale. We'll talk more about that. Foresight has tickets. Foresight Communications, the Singing Bishop, has tickets. And of course, yes, I suppose Deborah Bottom have tickets. Tickets are going $150. This is very important.
And they're going well. We're grateful for that.
And they also have advance tickets at the door. You can pay $15 in advance or $20 at the door for the big event over at the Golden Gates Ministries on Sunday. Let me run to a break and come back. When I come back this evening, I'm going to talk for a brief moment with a songbird. Of course, her name is Beverly Crawford. She's internationally known. She's a gospel artist, and of course, she's here this weekend as well as a special guest artist of this big event, Mother to Mother Raising Champions. It's a fantastic weekend plan, and in a minute, we're going to bring in Beverly Crawford, and she's going to talk with me for a second. And hopefully talk with you mothers and people out there today, that you will get your groove on, your real groove on this weekend with the Mothers to Mothers Raising Champions weekend. We're back in a minute.
All the faith you need is about the size of a mustard seed right now. It's about time for a miracle. Come on and clap your hands. We're going over to the promised land right now. It's about time for a miracle. Can't you see? It's about time for a miracle. Woo! Come on, get ready to shout. My God already worked it out right now. It's about time for a miracle.
At Henry F. Story Electric Company, we supply all your electric needs for any size project, from residential housing to luxury hotels. We can help you achieve just the right look, from doorbells to chandeliers, table lamps to ceiling fans, wire, conduit, panels, dimmers, switches, plugs, and even tools. And don't forget light bulbs. We have those hard-to-find energy-saving fluorescent bulbs and more. Henry F. Story Electric, number 135 Matthew Street. Over 50 years of reliability, service, and low prices. We also ship to the Family Islands.
Executive Printers. We're professionals. At Executive Printers, we do not participate in trash talk. We concern ourselves with the accuracy and security of your laser check. That is why we put 15 securities on your laser checks. This is not trash. This is fact. It makes fraud almost impossible. Call us today at Executive Printers at 393-5011 or email us at sales@epbahamas.com. That's sales@epbahamas.com. Executive Printers. Laser checks. We do them right. Le Bleu. Premium ultra pure drinking water. Oh, this is real refreshing stuff. Made especially for fine restaurants and hotels at the 5-star level. But you can drink it anywhere at any time because it's truly premium ultra pure drinking water. We believe that we've developed the ultimate process to produce the purest and best tasting water in the world. Le Bleu is the water that truly deserves to reside at your table, because a great meal should be accompanied by great water. And we present you with Le Bleu Premium Ultra Pure. Enjoy.
The Bahamas experienced record heat in April. Well, it's staying hot in May at Super Value and Quality supermarkets with sizzling savings like Cardinal Cream, the large can, 99 cents. Ocean Spray Cranberry Juice, 60-ounce can, $4.99. Vitamol Tonic, the can or bottle, the 12-ounce size, 99 cents. Value Time Foam Plate, the 40-count, $1.69. Chicken leg quarters, the 10-pound bag, 89 cents per pound. All that and more at Super Value and Quality supermarkets, your Bahamian supermarkets.
Oh, I love my island. Oh, my island mate. Oh, I love my island. My island mate. Oh, I love my island.
Island Made, locally produced products here in the Bahamas and available for purchase. For more information about our products, give us a call at 362-1102 or 362-1113. Island Made brands located in the Bacardi plants, encouraging you to buy Bahamian and support local entrepreneurship.
My island mate. We got in the club, that's my island mate.
The choices we make can make us, like who we turn to for investment and retirement advice. Choosing CFAL means having a trusted advisor on your side, helping you build wealth and meet your financial goals. We manage pension assets for businesses and offer individual plans to help you design a secure retirement. We can provide brokerage services and comprehensive research support for clients needing a little more investment guidance. CFAL can help you build a portfolio you can be proud of. Visit us at cfal.com. CFAL. Seize your future.
This year, don't be caught singing the Christmas blues. Start saving now with your own B.O.B. Christmas Club account. Sign up before June 30th with just $20. Earn high interest and have guaranteed spending money in time for Christmas. Don't be left in a bind this year. Let B.O.B.'s Christmas Club account work for you. Sign up today at your nearest B.O.B. branch. B.O.B., your bank of solutions.
The best insurance in town is Advantage Insurance on Collins Avenue. They are simply the best because they provide easy, affordable insurance rates for home, car, business, or whatever is valuable or important to you. Advantage Insurance and Brokers, 61 Collins Avenue, is the fastest, most progressive insurance company in the Bahamas because they really take care of you by making insurance totally affordable. Call them now at 356-0285 or 6 or email them at info@advantagebahamas.com.
When I fly with Sky. Sky Bahamas. When I fly with Sky. Sky Bahamas. Oh, the plane them spanking clean. The pilots them voice red. They fly you out on time. They flight attendants red. Service is their passion. With you they take good care. Safety is their culture. Yes, they'll get you there. When I fly.
Fly with us to Fort Lauderdale or the beautiful Bahama Islands. Book today at 702-2600 or visit our website at skybahamas.net and experience Sky.
I enjoy hard copy. I just love it, the information. It's informative, relevant, and timely. I love it.
Twelve past the hour. I told you I had guests today, and yes, I've got all kinds of world beaters stopping by the studio today. They're getting ready for the Mother to Mother Raising Champions weekend. And, of course, I've got a special guest with me today in Beverly Crawford out of Gainesville, Florida. And, of course, Beverly is no stranger to the Bahamas or to what we do on this side of the pond. Back and forth, she knows Bishop Neil C. Ellis and many others. Of course, she's here through the Debbie Butler CEO Network. And there's a major thing that's happening this weekend with Bishop Lawrence Rowe, who is having his annual Mother's Day concert. It's the 21st annual one, and of course, it's going to be at Golden Gates Ministries International this coming Sunday. Tickets are only like $15 in advance and $20 at the door, and you want to see this because Beverly is world-class, world-renowned, and of course, singing Bishop. Everybody knows him. He has the biggest following in the entire Bahamas. You just say, Bishop going to be there, and everybody's going to be there, ready to dance and watch Bishop prance around. Beverly Crawford, thank you so much for being a part of Hard Copy today. It's a very special edition. We're talking something that's important to us, mothers to mothers, trying to bring out the best in our children. We've got our own unique problems in the Bahamas, pretty much like it would be in Florida, in Chicago, Atlanta, any place else. And since we're family and trying to empower one another, this conference this weekend and this whole big concert is a means of trying to get people to understand that, listen, you're not alone, and you can get some support from a sister, and even from one who's been bellowing out the best music and gospel in the last 20 years, and Beverly Crawford. So we welcome you to Hard Copy. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful. Thank you for having me. I'm just so excited. I'm like a little kid, just excited to be here, and just an honor because you all show me so much love, and it's just good. I guess it's good to be back home.
Yes, you can say that's good to be back home. It's absolutely good to be back home. So you are looking forward to this. How important is the conversation that we had earlier with Jolinda Wade and Deborah Bartlett? How important is that for mothers to consider that we have problems? Our problems are they're universal, the same problems are everywhere. And how do you speak? What do you say to behaving mothers in particular who are going through so many things to the point where, especially their sons, their children, and the fact that a lot of them are caught up in all kinds of things, all kinds of distractions, like everybody else in the world. What message you have for them, and why should they be a part of what is happening this weekend for them to get to another level?
It is so important, just like Pastor Jolinda Wade, which is her and Debbie are good friends of mine, and we've been in ministry so long together. It's just that you need each other. And it doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter how much money you have or where you live. You need each other. You need someone to be able to encourage you and pour back into you to say, hey, I've been there. I've done that. I bought the Coke, the Pepsi, the chips, and the Snicker bar. I did it all. So I know where you are. I know about the low self-esteem. And I too battled that, with trying to commit suicide 2 times, and not knowing how to love myself. And when you battle those things and then God delivers you and sets you free, it took people in my life to love on me. First, I had to deal with myself to understand, hey, there is a problem. I do have low self-esteem. I am battling this. And just because I'm Beverly Crawford, it's okay because I'm flesh and blood. But God has sent somebody in your life to love you. But first, the Lord, when I realized that there was a problem, the Lord spoke to me himself and said, Beverly, know that I love you. And if nobody else loves you, learn how to love yourself.
That's powerful.
And that's the whole key. You got to learn how to love you. When you learn how to love you, then you can love somebody else. And then to have those sisters around you to pour into you and just to be in the midst of them. You may not even know their name, but just to be in the midst of them.
But you've got to be in the right company. It's got to be a beginning point because many people are down in the dumps to the point where they're not so sure if they're coming or going, if you understand that term. They're wit's end. They don't know what to do. There's money shortage. There's love shortage. It's just an abundance of bills and kids and problems and pressure. And cupboards empty and refrigerators are empty. And that kind of thing. And people can't, especially mothers who care, they can't exist in such a condition without having a breakdown, without having all of these things spinning in their head all the time and losing control and abusing children and shouting at this and getting into drugs or whatever they do, or having multiple men to try to make the bills meet. These things are really happening in real life. People think that that's something that some other people just do, but this is happening right next door. This is happening within the family structure. And how do you deal with that? Because obviously our women, our families, our men, everybody needs to have a good appreciation as to what women in particular, and we've got beautiful women in the Bahamas. Let me tell you, the Bahamian women are fantastically awesome. They have the determination that is beyond anything that you could imagine. The determination, whether that determination is for good or for bad, there is heavy determination to get exactly what they want to have because they have influence. But they're still at their wits' end in many regards because they don't have that pouring out of somebody else in them to make them feel and to be confident as to who they are and to help them raise their children, since they are, like every place else, delinquent men who have not pulled their weight. And so a lot is left on the woman. We've got a high percentage of single mothers in the Bahamas, very high, over 80%.
Wow.
And that should tell you that we have a
Yes.
serious social meltdown, a social problem, because we like to say women can't raise boys, especially, and you need boys to be disciplined to keep building the country. How do you speak to all that? I know I said a lot just now.
Oh
but how do you
no,
speak
I
to that?
love it because it is so true. We need each other, and then you're gonna that just same as you were just saying, that fight on the inside of you. As long as you got an ounce of it, you need to make your way to this event, because there are going to be women there that are going to pour into you and encourage you to fight on. There was something somebody put on Facebook probably about a month ago, and it was you may have seen it. It was a duck that was looking for the babies. The duck kept walking in front of this little a drainage, and it kept walking back and forth. And the guy was looking at this duck and said, "Why does this duck keep walking back and forth?" Well, after a while, he started listening. The little babies had fell inside the drainage, and they were crying for the mother. And the mother heard them. But out of being desperate, she kept walking back and forth until somebody recognized that her babies were down in there in that drainage hole. And the young man realized they were there. He picked up the top, and the babies they started running out to that mother, and that mother lined up, and those babies lined up behind that mother and followed her. So what am I saying? You got to get desperate. Say, I'm desperate. I'm going to save my babies, and whatever I got to do, I'm going to keep pacing. I'm going to keep looking. I'm going to keep finding somebody. So I really need to be to this event, because I believe the answer that I need is there. And wherever you are, keep finding. Go find a church home that encourage you, that lifts you up. Talk to some women. There's some women out there, but you just need to find them. They might be right next door, but you never took the time out to even speak and say hello. She's been there where you are. You just need to find that fight. And then we have to be able to have that radar, that signal that goes off, to be able to love on people, even if you don't know them.
I got something else I got to put to you.
Okay.
We're losing a lot of our young men, for sure.
Oh, yes.
It's a lot of high crime. We're losing them. We're losing a lot of our young women because of a jealous rage, because of all of those kinds of things. And even now, we're losing them by way of murder and that kind of a thing. There has to be something that you can say as a mother, one, and as one who has been a teenager some time ago, and is now in your settled state, that young girls don't choose well. There are signs that they should see early from somebody who's abusive or somebody who don't really love them, even though he says so. And they are in danger. A lot of our young women are in danger, and they don't know that they're in danger because they're secretive.
That's right.
They're not talking anything. Mom don't know, dad don't know, and we're losing them. How do you speak to that? Because I think there's something powerful here. We've just recently I lost a daughter some years ago, about 7-8 years ago, through violence, domestic violence, the jealous rage, that kind of a thing. Because men don't want to let go, and especially when a young girl is wanting to move on to another level, and they can't deal with that. And they remember and they think of all the things I've done for you. I bought you this, I've done that. And that is what the common thing is today. How do you speak, Beverly Crawford, as somebody who has been through all of those things and was once young yourself, and understand what the young girl is going through, because nothing's changed, but they don't know because they have no mother figure to tell them to run when it gets to that kind of a thing. A slap in the face, a black eye today, a verbal abuse, that kind of a thing. They ought to run, but they don't run. And then somebody is slowly walking behind their hearse, behind their coffin. This is real. This is nothing exaggerated. What I'm saying to you is a real situation in the Bahamas.
Wow.
I want you to speak to that, because there must be something that young girls can learn from somebody like you, who have made yourself big on the world stage in music. You found a way to break out. You found a way to get away from all that stuff to be who you are. What do you say?
You know, and from one that has dealt with low self-esteem and that fight that's on the inside, I also have a daughter who went through her stage in life, making wrong decisions, bad decisions. And it took her for years to really find someone that the Lord found a man that loved her for who she is. But before then, she went through the battle of choosing bad decisions. And me and her dad had to go through talking with her. You don't have to settle for this. You don't have to have someone talk you down and treat you bad. And but many times we feel like that's the way, that's how it's supposed to be, but it's not. I started a girls conference going on 2 years now for that purpose, because we've had so many of our young girls they're going to prison because they end up, if he didn't kill her, she killed him, or because of the fight, because of the abuse, because of trying to commit suicide, because they said, I can't take it. Nobody would ever love me. Nobody would ever accept me, or getting out there on drugs. And so now we're trying to reach the younger girls before it gets there. But the sad news is that our younger girls at the age of 12 and 13 and 14 have already been raped, or have already been abused, have already have had young man to beat on them because he's seen another young man, maybe his father, his uncle, treat a woman bad. So we find out even in the school systems that this is going on. So now we're trying to reach them. So the same thing that's happening in the States, as you said, is happening over here.
Absolutely.
And so we have to fight for them. We have to use our testimony. And I think a lot of times we had one mother in our church, and she was saying, don't tell all that. Don't tell where you come from. I say, yes, you have to tell it, because you can save a life from telling them that you got pregnant at a young age.
Absolutely.
That you went through 5 or 6 men before you found out that it could be better than that. You need to tell those testimonies. And I think that's the problem, is that we don't tell our testimonies, so that some young girl or some young boy can hear that and say, you know what? Wow, I looked up to them. I didn't even know they went through the same thing I went through, or they even know somebody else who went through that, or they tried to commit suicide, or they were abused because they don't look like it. I don't look like what I've been through, but I've been there. And so now we're pouring that into them, and I'm reaching out to other young ladies that have gone through that. We have a young lady in our church her name is Natalie, and Natalie went through prostitution, went through men after men, and end up with HIV. And now she's at our church now, still living in the home with her mother that is full-blown AIDS, and that is still on drugs. Her sister is still on drugs. But Natalie fought through all that and said, for God I live and for God I die. Now Natalie is using her testimony. She's going to colleges, she's going to schools, she's going to different churches, pouring into other young people to tell them you don't have to live like I had lived. And now I'm living with my mother and my sister, who I have to take care of daily, and leave a powerful service or leave an uplift spirit, and I have to go back home to deal with those same fights in the same spirit. And she says, sometimes I have to sleep with one eye open because my mother wants to fight me because I'm in control of her money. Now I'm taking care of the woman that really was supposed to be taking care of me. And so she fights through this, but yet is strong. So I let Natalie get up, and she tells her testimony and encourage other people. And then I go and I share it, because people need to hear that there is hope, that somebody there, you can survive, and being a living example that it's not too late.
Wow, powerful stuff. Beverly Crawford with me this afternoon on Hard Copy. Of course, she's a renowned gospel artist, and everybody knows that she has got a great voice and certainly a great story. And certainly what she is doing this weekend with the Mother Raising Champions, a big concert and a special conference at the Hilton and over at the Golden Gates Ministries this weekend, Sunday, is phenomenal. This is a real good treat. It's a little different show from our normal format today. But I think in my spirit, I sense that this is timely, because I know of the things that we don't get to talk about from a social impact point of view normally on the show. and there are young people who are hurting. There are young people who are misled and misguided and that kind of stuff. And it is important, isn't it, Beverly, that we ought to be able to be examples as to what we want. When we lead by example, if we do all the wrong stuff and we bring all the wrong influences and all the wrong things into a country, wouldn't that have an impact upon the attitudes of the people?
Oh, yes, definitely. It's all about your attitude. It's all about what you bring. And if you don't bring positive stuff in, whatever's not positive, it's going to bring bad things in. But if you can bring something positive to uplift people's spirit, to let them know this is not the end of the world, hey, you can be overcomers. The Lord gave me something a long time ago. He said, Beverly, there's not a problem that I can't solve. There's not a habit that I can't break. There's not a situation that I can't bring you out of. I said, what are you saying? He said, there's nothing too hard for me. There's nothing too hard. No matter what struggles you go through, no matter what fights you go through, there is nothing too hard for God. And all you need is that fight. You feel like I have messed up so bad. I've hit the wall. I'm at my lowest point. I can't come out of this. Yes, you can. As long as there's breath in your body, you have the power and the strength that you don't even know you have to come out of your situation.
I tell you, powerful stuff. Bishop Lawrence Roll is with us as well. And of course, he's a favorite son of the Bahamas. We know him very well. We love him. And of course, many people do. And he's the man really behind all of this, because he's been doing this for the last 21 years. And this Mother's Day concert is going to be this weekend. Though we celebrated Mother's Day last Sunday, it is this weekend that you're going to have this big thing. And I'm happy that you're doing this, because you know why I'm happy? Because last week, while we were supposed to be celebrating Mother's Day in a grand way, we were celebrating this carnival that we had here. And that kind of like threw everybody for a loop. And I don't think mothers got, I was saying on the show yesterday, I don't think mothers got a good deal this Mother's Day. Everybody's busy doing something else. And they were perhaps too tired in the main to deal with anything substantive with mom last week. Now, that's not for everybody, but this was the first time we had a carnival in the Bahamas.
Wow.
And so that was something else. But Bishop, you are on Sunday coming over at Golden Gates. And so we could expect the usual stuff, right?
Yes, well, it's a major concert, and I really give God praise. The Bahamas is familiar with this concept, but this go round we really put it on another level. With
Deborah told me, Deborah Violet told me, you brought in some international celebrities, so it's big.
Yes, so the thing about it is, me and Pastor Beverly, we met at Walking in Victory with Dr. Neil Ellis some years ago. And when she come through the airport, we knew each other.
Yeah.
So I really thank God even for Dwayne Wade, mother, that is going to speak to the mothers. The banquet is tomorrow evening. And of course, the country is waiting for Beverly Crawford
on
at
Sunday.
Dr. Russ Davis Church.
Yes, that's on Sunday, 7 o'clock on Sunday.
The thing about it, the crowd has really grew, because last year we only like about 100 plus, but this time is probably over 200.
That mothers who will be on it.
Yes, and they're wearing white and lavender.
Well, I know how you go. See, this fella, he likes to sew. He makes his own clothing and all that. So I know that you know how to do your own designs and all that. Yeah. Well, it's mighty good that I think it is worthwhile not just to have a concert, but to have a concert with an impact of some major message. People who don't get the message in the music will get the message dynamically placed by individuals like Jolinda Wade and of course Beverly Crawford and others who will be there as well. I suppose we can also hear from Lynette Hester. I see her here on my schedule, and of course Dr. Christine Johnson, who's Magic Johnson's mother, who is supposed to be a part of all of this weekend.
Yes, but she would not be able to come. I think her brother passed away. He's burying tomorrow. But in the meanwhile, we's going to be there, and tomorrow at our church from 12 to 1 o'clock, we feeding mothers around the country.
Now, the church is where? Where's your church?
2nd Street to Grove.
2nd Street to Grove. And you're going to be feeding mothers around the country.
Yes,
this is a big
and
fat.
I'm one of the cooks.
You're cooking as well?
Yes. Yes.
You've been doing this for every year?
Yes.
For the last 21 years?
Yes, sir.
How expensive is that? And do you get the kind of response that you're looking for? And do you get the peddle the kind of influence that you want to in the society to convince mothers that they have to really be mothers?
Well, we have donators, and some persons say, well, don't call their name, keep it as a secret. But a lot of people I mean, support. We got Brave Davis, he usually support. Mother Pride is a good supporter. Some of the supporters we would not call their names, and they're there.
Yeah.
They're making it happen.
Yeah, they're making it happen. That's a wonderful thing.
We love it.
So how important is this concert this year to you, especially now this is the first time that you're having the caliber of international artists like Beverly Crawford and others coming to be at the thing, at your big performance. How important is that to you, the big picture?
Well, I love it is because the Lord said years ago that the ministry will go international, and it's time for me to come out of the box.
So you're now getting out of the box.
Yes. Breaking out.
You're originally from which island? Cat Island?
Cat Island.
Cat Island. You're from which
Old
part?
Bight.
Old Bight. You're a Cat Island fella. I'm Cat Island too. I just realized that.
Really?
Yeah. So that's a wonderful thing. Well, you know, Bishop, we like the fact that Beverly Crawford probably don't know your story, and many people don't know your story as to how you really got into this thing, how you got into. He sings and he's a big following. Now, he got into this thing some years ago, a long time ago, when he was even younger than he's looking now. Tell us quickly how that happened, Lawrence Rowe.
Well, while I was in Cat Island, I take care of old people, plait their hair, cook on the 4 rocks for them, and they really had no money to say. In other words, to say, give to me. And all I heard the old people say to me, Larry, the Lord bless you. Yes, it take. So when my grandmother brought me into Nassau and my grandmother died, I was 14 years old. And I just have a love for mothers. And that's how it is.
Wow.
We have a lot of mothers follow me, a lot of young people. About 2 weeks ago, they had the one other gang group after their leader got killed, poured by the church.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And you were able to talk
I
to
said,
them.
well, why y'all coming to me? They said, we believe in you. So we bring in people like Christian Massive them and Carlos Reel them and speak to them, tell them, get off the street and behave themselves.
Well, you're doing good work. That's a good thing for a Cat Island fella.
Yes.
And it's all because of a woman, your grandma, your mom and grandmother who nurtured you into.
She was there for me.
Yeah.
She was there for me. And of course, I have a testimony. My country know it. Eat out the garbage, brush my teeth with ashes, could not complete school. I'm just natural. just natural. And the Lord really comes down and he really blessed me. And the times I sit among the people and I wonder, why is it that the Lord blessed me above everybody? We paid like some 10, 15 people rent a week. I'm telling you, people has no food to eat. There was a time a family was underneath the tent with a weight sheet over their head, the little children. It's a good thing I come back into the yard, nowhere to live. And I'm just there among the people. And I thank God that my wife gave me that opportunity.
That's good.
To connect with the people.
That's good. But we need it. We have lots of people there who need the help. And so it's good to see that you're one of the brothers who are doing that. And we want to congratulate you on what you've accomplished here. Debbie Butler is a good person to be working with.
Yes, sir.
She has a lot of contacts, and you ought to go for gold if you want to take it to another level. We want to congratulate you for that.
She has really been a blessing, and we thank God for Mark Cartwright Farm Fest. Debbie Bartlett, she's a brains box, and you just have to listen.
Yeah, once you listen,
sometimes the steps are big, but
once you listen, things will happen, eh? Well, listen, I want to congratulate you. We're looking forward to this big event this week, Mother to Mother, Raising Champions, and that's because the best is still in a lot of people. There are so many mothers, Beverly Crawford, in the Bahamas who have wonderful children. The nation has not recognized their children yet. Some of their children have not performed the miracles and the wonderful accomplishments that they have already given them, that they're birthed in them, that it's there. It's just not come to being yet. And so there are some who have accomplished many things, and there are some whose children have accomplished a lot of things, since we talk about raising champions, but they are disappointed. Mothers are disappointed with the final outcome. How do you deal with these kinds of things? Because there's a lot on the shoulders of a mother. Nobody knows the mother's love like a mother knows. It's something that cannot be explained. How a mother could love the way she does. It's the way that God made it, I suppose. But, you know, even when some people would look at a mother who has a son who is right down to nothing, I mean, skin and bones, sick and disease, and a mother is there comforting him. I mean, nobody knows that kind of love. And so we have that situation in our country, like you have in your neck of the woods where you are. And I just want you to as we leave this afternoon, to just speak to those things, because there has to be encouragement in some regard to bring mothers to the reality, and to bring families to the reality that it's all about the family.
Yes.
And the mother is key in the family.
Yes. Don't stop fighting for your babies. Don't stop fighting for your babies. No matter how it looks, how it seems, because when everybody else walk away, mom is still there. Mother's there. It may not be the biological mother. It may be that mother who you have taken on because your mother either has passed on or she just wasn't there. But that mother who you fell in love with, maybe that church mother, is still there encouraging you. And so I want to encourage the mothers, don't give up. Don't give up, no matter how bad it looked. I've seen God turn things around. I never forget my brother. He was out there selling drugs and out there on drugs, and they would be laughing because my mom would say, I'm not worried about him. I may be dead and gone, but he gonna be saved. I may be dead and gone, but God gonna use him to the glory of God. Sure enough, she closed eyes before she could see it. But right now, today, my brother's a pastor and a minister, and doing what God has called him to do.
Spoken it
because she kept speaking it. A mother, a real mother, pace that floor. A real mother, get up and in the midnight hour and pray when she tired and wore out and have cleaned up and cooked all day long and worked all day. That mother fight for her babies no matter what. And even if she can't take care of herself, like Pastor Wade said earlier, she'll find somebody that'll love on my babies till I get myself together.
Oh, Beverly Crawford, thank you so much. It's good to see you here in the sunny shores of the Bahamas. You're used to the warm sunshine nonetheless.
Oh, yes, you know it.
It's good to have you back. Well, I suppose a lot of people are looking forward to Sunday evening over at Ross Davis Church, the Golden Gates Ministries International, to see the singing prophet, singing bishop, and all the others who will be performing and all that.
Yes.
We want to congratulate you and thank you for dropping a word today. We don't normally do a show like this on this particular program.
Wow.
But I felt that it was a very, very good episode today, because people need to hear something positive, and they need to hear something of encouragement, especially our mothers. Our mothers are great people. They work hard. They've tried, but no one paying them no mind, because in some people's viewpoint, it's just a woman. That's her job. She's a mother. But we've got to understand that the mother is the one who makes the nation go right or make it go bad. And if we can get more mothers to start praying like you've suggested, and believing in their children, and motivating their children, and going the extra mile for the children, with discipline and love, not just doing it because you want to do that, but with discipline, then we will perhaps see a reduction in the crime that we have. Better attitudes cultivated in the country, that they don't run around with guns. Because if mom says, look here, boy, you got this gun, go get that up and you get yourself together.
Get yourself together.
Children will do so, especially sons who love their mothers.
Yes.
Because we love our mothers.
Yes.
And we'd listen. But we don't have enough mothers today who are doing that.
That's right.
And that's unfortunate.
Yes.
That's straight across the world.
Yes.
So we appreciate what you've said. Thank you so much.
you.
All right. Let's run to a break. We're coming back. The big weekend, Mother to Mother, Raising Champions. Beverly Crawford, this beautiful voice you hear here. She's in town this weekend, and they're doing a number of things. You ought to go and be a part of it. You can contact the Singing Prophet, the Singing Bishop, to get more information about how you can get your tickets. Check Mark at Farm Fest. Check Debbie Bartlett at CEO Network, and check my good friend here, Bishop Lawrence Roll, at his church, to make sure that you can be a part of it. Thank you so much. We're back in just a minute. This is Hard Copy.
We're going over to the promised land right now. It's about time for miracle. Can't you see? It's about time. It's about time for miracle. Come on, get ready to shout. My God already worked it out right now. It's about time for
to mother, let's face it, it's tough raising children. Yet despite the challenges that you may face, many of you are raising champions. And we want to celebrate you. The CEO Network, Farm Press International, and Bishop Lawrence Roll presents the first annual Mother to Mother Raising Champions Weekend, featuring Magic Johnson's mom, Dr. Christine Johnson, and Pastor Jolinda Wade, mother of Dwayne Wade. A gala banquet on Saturday, May 16th, 7 p.m. at the British Colonial Hilton. Tickets are $150 and available at Forsyth's Communications, Rosetta Street, and the Singing Bishop's Delight Store on Market Street and Palm Tree Avenue. Join the Singing Bishop, Lawrence Roll, at the 21st Annual Mother's Day Concert on Sunday, May 17th, 7 p.m., featuring gospel recording artist Beverly Crawford at the Golden Gates Ministries International, Carmichael Road. Tickets are $50 in advance and $20 at the door. Help us celebrate our mothers. The first annual Mother to Mother Raising Champions Weekend, May 16th and 17th.
All of our parents were ambassadors of tourism at one time or the other. Your mom and dad and their mama and papa built this country squarely on providing a first-class tourism product. They smiled, they entertained, they shared their culture with the guests who came from far and wide, and they made tourism the #1 industry of our country. They did something more. They left us, the new generation of Bahamians, in charge of the goose that lays the golden egg, tourism. We can't fail them or our country. We must keep the tradition alive by doing the little things that mean a lot. A welcoming smile, a friendly wave, and a clean surrounding. After all, this is the beautiful Bahamas, an island nation of beautiful people who continue to make it happen. And that's why it's better in the Bahamas.
The Bahamas experienced record heat in April. Well, it's staying hot in May at Super Value and Quality supermarkets with sizzling savings like Carno Cream, the large can, 99 cents. Ocean Spray Cranberry Juice, 60-ounce can, $4.99. Vitamol Tonic, the can or bottle, the 12-ounce size, 99 cents. Value Time Foam Plate, the 40-count, $1.69. Chicken leg quarters, the 10-pound bag, 89 cents per pound. All that and more at Super Value and Quality supermarkets, your Bahamian supermarkets.
Are you a holder of a bachelor's degree? Are you in the job market looking for employment? Listen up. The Department of Labor is urging Bahamians with a bachelor's degree in any and all professions to move now and register with the department at its Clarence Bean Building or Robinson Road office or any of the family of islands. Don't hesitate. Bachelor's degree holders, register today without delay, whether you are employed or unemployed. For more information, contact the Department of Labor at 302-2550 or 302-2562.
The best insurance in town is Advantage Insurance on Collins Avenue. They are simply the best because they provide easy, affordable insurance rates for home, car, business, or whatever is valuable or important to you. Advantage Insurance and Brokers, 61 Collins Avenue, is the fastest, most progressive insurance company in the Bahamas because they really take care of you by making insurance totally affordable. Call them now at 356-0285 or 6 or email them at info@advantagebahamas.com.
At Ron's Electric Motors, they repair and rewind all major brands of electric motors, including water pumps, generators and the generator's back end, welding machines, electric lifts, air compressors, battery chargers, and more. They're equipped to handle up to 850 kilowatts and rewind up to 450 horsepower motors. They're conveniently located on the corner of Wolf and Clarence Roads and are open weekdays 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturdays till noon. They offer 24 hours emergency assistance. You can reach them at 242-356-0249.
At Henry F. Story Electric Company, we supply all your electric needs for any size project, from residential housing to luxury hotels. We can help you achieve just the right look, from doorbells to chandeliers, table lamps to ceiling fans, wire, conduit, panels, dimmers, switches, plugs, and even tools. And don't forget light bulbs. We have those hard-to-find energy-saving fluorescent bulbs and more. Henry F. Story Electric, number 135 Matthew Street. Over 50 years of reliability, service, and low prices. We also ship to the Family Islands.
When Steve talks,
people listen. People listen. People listen. People listen.
Welcome back. Powerful couple of few minutes that we spoke today with the guests who were here. And we didn't mean to talk so long, but for some reason I felt compelled to engage them and talk about it, because I felt that there were some people out there who may have been going through a number of things and would have needed to hear a little encouragement. And so you must forgive me if you didn't find it interesting. I found it because I go by how the Spirit leads. And these few minutes here, my Spirit leads me to tell you that my lines are open, that you can give me a call and talk about anything from a social point of view that you think we ought to discuss in these final few minutes of our togetherness this evening on this Friday, because we are in a serious crisis, friends, from a social point of view. Not only are we in a crisis in this country with politics and governance and all that, and that's all a part of it, but we are in a serious crisis. You heard me talk with the speakers today about some things that are unspeakable, that we cannot and will not talk about on public radio because they're just unspeakable. People are doing unspeakable things in this country, trying to make ends meet. And it's not an excuse. They should not be doing it. But because there's no kind of moral fiber, no steadying power, many people do many things, and it's not in their best interest or that of their families. You see, gone are the days in the country, I believe, where we had the matriarch of the home, that grandmother, that sweet aunt who did things and helped to nurture you. We need nurturing in the country. And because of that, we don't get those truisms, you know, those sayings that mom and them used to tell us that made us stay on the right road. Boy, you look like you're going the wrong way. You better fix your attitude, they used to say. And then one would say, listen, man, don't let people things worry you. Don't let people things worry you. This is important today as I talk in these few minutes, because you see, when people things worry you, what the old people meant was when people things worry you, that means that you had a jealous, envious streak, that you want what they have and you don't know how to get it. But you worried about it to the point where you want that. You letting that bother you. These are real stuff. Don't let people things worry you. You don't know how to get it. That's important, because achieving something really is about doing it the right way. People could have all kinds of things. You know how they get it. They could have stolen it. They could have, you know, and that was the lesson that parents were teaching us. Don't let people things worry you. They also said, if you ain't got, do it out. I mean, you know, to me, those things rung through into my head today, because as I spoke with Beverly Crawford, and of course the mother of Dwayne Wade from the Miami Heat, Jolita Wade, who's now a pastor, who came from the dumps of cocaine addiction and everything else to where she is now today in the world. And her son, of course, a child that she had in all that mess, somebody special today. That's why I'm saying, you don't know what you can be if you give up by committing suicide, if you give up by deciding that that's it, you're just going to be a bum. You are just going to be an alcoholic. You can drink until you die. You can decide that you can snort cocaine and smoke crack until you die. You decide that you can be an outlaw until they kill you. We must not be thinking like that, because you come from a mother who, I'm sure, even if she was very young when she had you, there were others who were surrogate mothers around you. Whether it's the lady down the street when you went to the storekeeper, somebody in school, a teacher, somebody told you, boy, listen, straighten up and fly right. What you joining the gang for? You don't need to do that. You don't need to be stealing and robbing. You don't need to do that. You don't need to do that because you have been given talent. You've been given something to feed yourself and your family with by God. And we don't hear that kind of talk anymore, is what I'm saying. And I would like to see us have that kind of talk again within the family structure. It is important. Family is all we are about. Everything, all our whole existence, our whole being is about family, you know. You realize that you could have all the money in the world and you ain't got no one to love you. You ain't got no family. You ain't got no relatives. You just can't be happy. Family is what it's all about. And if family is what it's all about, then we ought to listen to what the families are saying. And we ought to try to make our families work. And how do we do that? We do that by discipline. We do that by making sure that we can do introspection of the things that we've been doing wrong, the things that we want to change. And in all this confusion of politics and petty politics and partisan politics and colors of green, red, and blue and all this stuff, the bottom line is none of that really matters when it comes to what's the most important thing in your life. Family. Tonight there are families who have people in hospital. Some are dying, some are really ill, gravely ill, and some are not to have any visitors because that's how fate would have it. There's Grammy or some uncle in the hospital. Why am I telling you this? I want to touch you in your spirit today in these final few minutes. I feel like doing that. You know, there are people who are leaving the world and they won't have anyone to talk with. And even though you know that you were supposed to visit them in the hospital from last week, you ain't gone yet. You know why that's important to them? Because that's all it is, about families, but nothing else. It's about family. And if you decide that you're going to wreck the family by being irresponsible, by being abusive, by being divisive, by being a person who don't contribute to nothing, then you are destroying the family. That's all you got. You only got your mommy or your dad or your mom and your dad, or you only have your big sister or your little sister or your brother or big brother. That's all you have. You only have your family. When it comes right down to it, and I can tell you all kinds of stories from my own life, that when it comes right down to it, nobody really cares about you like your family, even though they don't show it sometimes, I know. But you ever been in trouble and you look around, you see who's there with you? You may see a sister. You may. You may see a cousin who's more of a friend than a family. But you really don't see anybody. You're alone. And it sure would be good to see someone there with you in your time of trouble, whether you're before the police, before the court, in the hospital, wherever you are. It would be good, right? I'm saying today that family is everything. You know, and mothers are very special. We didn't get a chance last week, so the Lord must be had it where I could talk about mothers today, because I didn't have a topic in particular. But, you know, the Lord must have had it because I felt that mothers last week got a bum deal. Now, I know some mothers got a great happening for Mother's Day. Mother's Day is a very special day. It ought to be celebrated because all of us have mothers and we love them dearly. But you know what I noticed on Mother's Day? Because I live in a vicinity where there are many graveyards. And I see the amount of people who come to put flowers on the grave of Mother on Mother's Day. I want you to do that on next Mother's Day, God spare your life. You be alive. Drive around and see people putting flowers on the grave. You know what I'm talking about. Mother's gone. You don't see this on Father's Day, you know. But you see this on Mother's Day. This is to tell you the impact that mothers have on their children, especially sons. It's a very powerful thing. And if you stop for a minute and get away from the politics and all the other garbage that floats around and pervades our own thought processes, you'll see the big picture. Because mothers are special, sons who are in gangs, who worry your mom every day. You ought to get away from that kind of stuff. It's not an easy thing to get out, I know, but you've got to begin the process of trying to get out. Because mom is going through a whole lot with that. Some of their hair is turning white at an early age because of stress and worry and anxiety about these sons who are there. That's their all in all for mothers. And then these guys are doing fool. And then if they go get killed, that's more stress on mom. I pray this weekend for all the women who are and families who are burying and funeralizing young people who have not even reached the age of 25, 26, 30 years old. We got to stop as a country and start to think about these things. You know, these are the things that really matters. Family really matters. The politics is going to blow away. You have to have family. And so what the ladies have said today, when I spoke with both Jolita Wade and, of course, just now Beverly Crawford, they tell me that they had the similar beginnings of addiction and had to break out and abuse and all that kind of stuff. If they can do it, you can do it. What makes you think that you can do it? And there are many women who are in abusive relationships. The fella beating you, The fella swelling your eye. I met a young lady recently who's a good banker. I mean, you know, and this guy just broke the two of her jaw. Just punched her and broke her jaw. I said, when she told me, I said, run. Run. Take it from somebody who's lost. I've lost greatly. Run. You get out of it. You run. You find someplace else to be. Because once he hits you once, that's the beginning of the long march to the graveyard. Or, if you defend yourself, the long walk to Fox Hill Prison. My mother used to say, listen, boy, you do better here because, see, trouble comes on a snail's back and leaves. Or she says, trouble comes on a horse's back and leaves on a snail back. In other words, a horse gallops. Trouble comes fast. But when it's time for trouble to go, trouble don't want to go. Trouble leaves on a snail's back at a snail's pace. Why get yourself in trouble? And look at the love that women have for their sons. You ever been around the courts? Women, not daddies, mothers are around the courts with their sons or daughters. Mothers. Painful stuff. Now, from an emotional point of view, that's not good. From a country point of view, from a community point of view, that's not good. From a structural point of view, as a people trying to build a country, it can be good. How are we going to build a country if we're losing the young fellas? How are we going to build a country if our young women who are supposed to be the new mothers of the new generation are dead by 25? How are we going to build a country? The future doesn't look bright if we don't get it together. The future must be bright. And the only way the future is bright is if we begin the process now of disciplining ourselves, deciding today, that we're going to do better. That's where it starts. It starts with you. The first step starts with you. What am I going to do? I'm going to do better. And the best way to do better is to stop the lies, stop the jiving, get serious. You got to do better. Your community can't improve if you don't do better. See, you got to do better. Then you will start to put flowers in the community. I mean, real flowers, not that flower shop, not the numbers flowers. I mean, real flowers, something beautiful. You've got to begin the process of looking at you, and then you put the flower in the neighborhood. Then guess what? The neighborhood becomes beautified and clean. And then guess what? By extension, the country. But if you're driving around throwing things out of your car, old bear bottle, old Kentucky box, whatever you throw, and you have no care, you know, that's a big reflection of who you are, really, in your spirit. You are a lazy, slothful individual. That's how serious that is. What you do shows what your character is. And that's what we need in the country, character. This country lacks character. Our character can't be nothing foreign, nothing else other than what our ma and pa told us in building a country. Now, while we could appreciate other cultures and chimes and that kind of stuff, that's fine. But we got to know who we are. Don't lose your identification. You lose your identification, hey, there may not be any continuance after the station break. And that's why I'm saying today that I felt compelled to say those things to you. Little things that mean a lot. If it ain't yours, leave it alone. If you ain't got, do it out. Don't let people things worry you, because guess what? You don't know how to get it. Be honest. Do the things to others that you would want them to do to you. The golden rule. These are things that we begin practicing, these simple little things. We could change this country around. If somebody mash your foot, why are you going to pull out a gun? You think he mean to mash your foot? If somebody says something offending you, why don't you turn the other cheek? Why don't you run away and forget about it? What you going home to go get gun for? Because he said some words? Sticks and stones may hurt my bones, but words will never hurt me. That's the kind of attitude you've got to adopt. And I can't believe that I'm sitting here on a national radio station saying these little things to you because you need it. But you need it. Could you imagine that? Kids don't have that anymore. Nobody's telling them that. All they know Get rich or die trying. What foolishness. If you're chasing money like that, and you would try to get rich and die or die trying, what's the purpose of getting rich? If you can die in the process, I mean, you can't spend it. What's the purpose? It's foolishness. But it's this kind of stuff that our young people are adopting. It is foolishness. And I just would wish that people would begin the process of trying to internalize and read more and talk more and communicate more. And if they do that, we could have a better world. We could have a better community. And I'm only motivated to tell you that because of all that is happening in our country. And I look around, I see, boy, we lack so much. We have so much. We've been blessed with so much, but we lack so much because we don't have time to stop and smell the roses and to be thankful for all the things that we have. Other parts of the world, man, they get killed just looking out the window. You know, things are bad. We have a good country, what's left of it, but we mustn't try to help to wreck it by doing foolishness. We mustn't squander what we have. We have a responsibility to do good, always, and to be good to others, to do unto others as you would have them do unto you. I thought that we should say that to you today, since we have been talking all this lovely stuff about mothers to mothers raising champions. You're a champion, but you can't be who you are if you don't invest in yourself. You got to love yourself, buddy. You got to dress yourself right. You got to fix yourself up. Nobody wants to be around somebody who's smelly, looking all bad and broke up. Fix yourself, man. Fix yourself. That's what you got to do. And when you fix yourself, somebody may compliment you. That will encourage you. And that's the beginning of the process. But don't be around the place feeling bad for yourself. How you going to feel bad for yourself and you don't want to do nothing to fix yourself? I talking to you today as a brother who understand that all of us come from the ghetto. All of us. None of us born with no silver spoon in our mouths. We know the struggle. We know what people feel. I know, certainly. I see it every day. You've got to do better. Bishop Lawrence Roll, and many like him, Pastor Timothy Stewart, my good friend over here on Wolf Road, who feeds the people. No, I'm talking about right here on Wolf Road, the ministry of, oh goodness, I don't know how his name get out of my head. But anyway, these are people who are doing good all the time. You can do the same thing. You can share your dinner with somebody down the street who don't have none. We used to do it. Mother used to make us go down the road and take all them derelict alcoholics who was just drinking themselves away. She'd say, hey, go take this down to Logical. You remember Killer? You don't know him. Take this down to Belef and Chippingham, that kind of stuff. You can do the same thing and make the community a little bit better. And do you know that those people repaid without even realizing it? They looked out for things in the neighborhood. When strangers came, these are the same derelicts who you took care of. They're the ones who kept you alert. It's the most amazing thing. But we forget how to do that. Maybe if we go back to that, we can have a better country and a better community. Think about those things this weekend, and please do go to church this Sunday. Do pray for your family and do pray for the country, because prayer changes things. Believe that. And if you do that, maybe we'll have a wonderful weekend. No violence, that kind of stuff. You know, it's important. But we've got to begin that process, friends, of trying to change it by doing the right thing as an individual. Tomorrow on the show, we're going to have, not tomorrow on this show, but tomorrow on the station, we're going to have a funeral service for a great man who, in fact, made a contribution and died at the age of 53. You know the twin brothers, the fellows who did the daiquiri. One of them passed, and the one who passed is Buddy. They're both the same age, Danny and Buddy is going to be funeralized tomorrow, and we're going to carry that as a tribute to him. You know why? This fella did a whole lot of stuff in his short life. I mean, people may not know because it's people like him who don't make the headlines. They're doing good. Here's a guy who's doing good all the time, and he dies at 53. But they became famous for making the daiquiri. You should hear their story, how they came up on Elustra, doing things from starting their little theater and charging people a fee to get into the theater, and making this and making that, and taking a drink and making something called a daiquiri in their own flair and flavor. And they got on CBS television and became world famous. And so there are a number of people who say, hey, when you go to the Bahamas, you got to get the Twin Brothers daiquiri. A little thing like that is what he came here to bless the world with. Imagine that. And he's a Bahamian, was a Bahamian, who's now passed. We pay tribute to him tomorrow, and we'll have a nice little commentary going about 11 o'clock after the World Stage program, World Stage Bahamas. And it's just to show you that you have to do your best. That's what legacy is all about. Legacy happens automatically. You don't have to plan that. What you do is going to have a lot of what you did in the future for those who need to know who you are and what you did. That's what legacy is. You can't build a legacy by trying to do things. You just do things and legacy follows. That's a word to the wise, which is another admonition that they gave us. A word to the wise is sufficient. Hard Copy has been a presentation of the Utilities, Regulations, and Competition Authority, the Bank of the Bahamas, BTC Everyday, Super Value, the All Bahamian Supermarkets, the McKinney Media Group for effective PR concepts and advertisement, Island Made Products, Ministry of Tourism, Department of Labor, bachelor's degree notice. It's out there. If you got a bachelor's degree, go and register with the ministry or the Department of Labor right away. Mother to Mother Weekend, Advantage Insurance and Brokers, Super Wash, Ron's Electric Motors, Sky Bahamas, Seafowl, Executive Printers, Henry F. Store, and the Blue Ultra Pure Drinking Water. God willing, we'll be back next week. You be safe this weekend. Let's have a good weekend. And remember, do things that will build our country. Good night from Hard Copy. God willing, we'll see you next week.
This is Peace Radio After Dark.
All right, this song is dedicated to Dorothy Louise Smith, my mama. Yes, I do it. You must love your mama, yeah, for as long as you have her. You must hug your mama. And tell her you love her.